Creative Living, utilizing today's technology with the best of the past to bring you innovative ideas and up-to-date information for creative lifestyles in today's active world. With your host, Sheryl Borden.
Thanks so much for joining me today for Creative Living. We're going to learn how to cook with artichokes and make some fun felting projects. One of my guests today is John Valertson, or more commonly called Chef Johnny V. He's a cookbook author and chef, and he's going to demonstrate the art of an artichoke. Many people are hesitant to buy and attempt cooking this strange vegetable. However, John will show us just how to clean an artichoke and how to steam cook it in a pressure cooker. He's the owner and operator of Las Cosas Cooking School in Santa Fe, New Mexico. We'll begin the show today with Megan Tommy, who previously represented EK Success Brands in Kansas City, Missouri. Megan will show a variety of felted projects, from a sweater to a pillow to seasonal decor, and she'll demystify the craft of felting, which is actually so easy. Megan, thank you so much for being here. When you said we were going to do felting, I thought, I've seen pictures of that in magazines, and I thought, that looks a little complicated. You thought so too,
I thought
right?
the same thing. I thought exactly the same thing. But I'll tell you, there's a Dimensions brand of craft out there that makes a felt work series. And that means there's a ton of products that are ready to go. All you do is mix and match, decide what you want to make, and have at it.
I like the way you think.
I know. Me too.
This is what we're talking about. This is called Felt Works, and this is wool, 100% wool.
That's right. And these come in sheets. And so when you pick your colors, you can make something like this pillow. So you just take a couple sheets and sew a pillow just like you would, you know, out of anything else. But what you would do first is all of this fun felting.
So we do that while it's flat.
That's
before
right.
we make
That's
it.
right. And this is kind of a bigger project. Typically, the projects I've made are a little bit smaller. And so when you're doing a big project like that, you want to use this multi-needle tool. The tool that I use is one needle, but this has a lot, and that means you can go faster.
Oh, okay.
The fun thing is that I didn't know before is that there's different kinds of roving. That's what this is. That's the loose wool. And this is a kind of roving here. You've got a kind there, and then there's another kind down there, right?
This is very
So
very
that
soft.
is the straight roving, and this is the curly roving. And the interesting thing is it comes from two different kinds of sheep. It's just the hair of the sheep that's different. Just like curly hair and straight-haired people, right?
Okay.
Isn't that fun? So it's really great because you can make this variegated curly roving do some fun things. And it really adds a lot of dimension and texture.
What great gifts these would be.
Oh, you've got it, you've got it. And again,
you just buy the little coin purse and,
That's right.
and then add whatever you want.
That's right, you're ready to go. You're ready to go.
And there's also things that are already made that you can just attach.
I
Now, I like that.
Me too, me too. And so there's beadwork and there's layering done on some of these products. Again, you just pick up the little handbag. You can make a little wristlet over there or a little, you know,
purse.
a little clutch there, and you just needle those in. And in fact, do you want to see how it's done?
I want to see how it's done.
Cool. I've got a set for you to try if you'd like. And I'm going to show you how I made this little flower here on this little clutch. So the first thing is I took one of those wool sheets and just trimmed out a little cut. This is your felting needle, and you want to be very careful because it's sharp.
Okay.
It's not a toy.
Now, this is on just a regular styrofoam block?
Yeah, you can buy like starter kits, and it will come with the needle
comes with it.
and your block. And then I just chose this this red roving, and you want to take just a little piece. The idea is that a little goes a long way. And so what I'm going to start with is like,
so you're kind of shaping it to start with?
Yeah. You can use, I think it's a seamstress chalk if you want to outline your design first. But this one's so simple, it's pretty easy to do freehand. So I'm going to start like with the 1/2 of a heart is how I'm going to start this. So I lay that down, and then you take your felting needle and you just start punching into the wool. And what happens is there's a little barb on the end of this needle, and that's what makes the fibers interlock with the wool. And you want to make sure that you go up and down perpendicularly.
Straight up and down.
Straight up and down. Otherwise, you're going to bend your needle or you might break your needle.
It's kind of an interesting feel.
Isn't that fun?
When it works.
Yeah. And a lot of times I'll do an outline first and then maybe go back and fill in. But you can see I've kind of got my heart started there.
You got a lot. Mine's more of a woolly worm, I think.
That's okay.
That's what I meant to make.
But I'll show you. We'll fast forward a little bit. But you can just do that and make your heart. And if you want to use it as a heart, that's fine. But if you keep going,
that's
keep
what I
making
was
those
going
petals.
to make.
Yeah, I see you started that.
Yeah.
You can do 5 more of these petals. And, you can
And
make
if
a
you
little
run out of
outline.
yarn there, you just keep adding to it. There's no
That's
stop
right.
and starting.
That's
is
right.
there?
I would start with a little, and you can always add more.
That's a great idea.
And then you can just trim out with regular scissors.
Now, this is felting too?
Right.
You just used a little.
And I'll show you on the back. That's what happens when your felting needle goes through the wool.
Can I pull this off and look at it?
Yeah, that's it.
So would that mean I should have pressed harder?
No,
Mine didn't go through.
You just do more.
Oh, you just
That's
do more.
It. Yeah,
oh,
you just got
okay.
started.
Oh, well, that's true.
So you'll just trim that
That
out.
is so fun.
And then you can slip your block right into the purse, and then you can punch your felting needle through this
Now,
little
did you
handbag
make
too.
this too?
I did.
Oh my gosh,
did.
that's so cute.
I just took a little of that aqua roving and punch needled that in right there. Yep, just punch, punch.
How fun.
It's a lot of fun. It's very cathartic.
I think it would be too.
And there's tons of options. You can see
have some
back
other
here.
things that you brought. I like the little Christmas stockings.
Isn't that great?
So cute.
And again, that uses that variegated curly roving. We've used the sheets just to cut out our own stocking. Same thing with the ornament there. This is really fun. Those sheets,
beautiful.
You can cut out your own pattern, right? But you can use that straight roving and make some really cool, interesting colors and textures, and then just use it as an applique.
So would this be done with the multi needle or with the single needle?
You could. It depends on how detailed you want.
How fast you want it.
That's right. That's right. I'm guessing they probably used, just the single needle here because you're doing just a little bit. And this is
so
really
cute.
fun. This mixes the variegated curly roving with the straight roving.
So this entire purse was made. This is all the wool.
This comes ready to go.
Oh, it's ready?
You can
Oh.
find that in your craft store, and you get to the fun part.
I see.
Isn't that great?
I thought, well, first you'd have to make that. So this is the fun part.
That's
like you
right.
mentioned.
That's
Well,
right.
this does look easy. I
I
think
know.
any of us can do it.
I know.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
Johnny, thank you so much for being here today. The last time you were here, we did a segment on pressure cooking, and you talked about the safety measures and the valve and all of that, and we had so many people comment that their pressure cooker is about like mine, underneath the cabinet.
Hidden away. Well, I think, everybody has a great story about their grandmother blowing beans on the ceiling, and I think I actually do regular pressure cooker classes in my cooking school, Las Cosas, in Santa Fe, and I kind of call it's like a 12-step program. Everybody comes with these huge fears they need to overcome. So the great thing about pressure cookers is, especially at our high altitude in Santa Fe at 7,000 feet, if you try to cook beans, they take 3 to 4 hours. In a pressure cooker, they take 30 minutes. This is actually my favorite pressure cooker that we do sell at Las Cosas, called a Fissler pressure cooker. The new pressure cookers really have built-in safety features that make it impossible to open it if there's any pressure built up still.
Oh, that's a great feature.
So, yeah, really good. You don't have to worry about it.
I used to be scared to death
Well,
to
I
open
think
it.
their companies don't want anything to happen for fear they'll be sued, so they make it nice and safe and easy.
That's good.
Couple of parts of your pressure cooker. Your gasket is really the most important part. So you want to take care of this. Don't throw it in the drawer with your knives or put it in the dishwasher or hang it up on a nail in the garage. Take care of this, and basically you're going to put it into place. And what I have here are my artichokes. We're going to make steamed artichokes, and then we're going to make an artichoke stuffed ravioli. So I just want to show you that to prepare my artichoke, what I did is I took a good sharp knife, cut off the head part of the artichoke, and then with a pair of kitchen shears, I went around and trimmed off each of those little points there
because
those are hot.
Oh,
Those are hot.
Oh,
Those are, it's almost like a
Sticky.
little burdock.
Oh, yeah.
It'll stick you in the tongue. Great thing about pressure cookers is you don't need to use a lot of liquid. So I've just got a 1/4 of an inch of water there on the bottom. And what I'm going to do is start this pretty much on high. And the great thing about pressure cookers, they line up easily. There's a dot on the lid, a dot on the handle. I'm just going to close that. And your pressure cooker should close easily. If you find yourself struggling with it, check to make sure your gasket isn't crooked. And then I'm just going to lock this. And you're going to see in a minute. Now, don't start the timing, Sheryl, of whatever recipe you're doing until you have reached pressure. So you're going to see there's going to be a little valve that pops up, and the first ring on the valve is your lower pressure. The second ring is the higher pressure. So with vegetables or anything hearty like an artichoke, I'm going to do the higher pressure.
I see.
And we'll do that for about 10 minutes once we reach pressure, and then I'm going to show you how quickly and easily that's cooked. Now, if you did this on top of the stove, it would take about 40 minutes to cook or steam
Artichokes
an
are
artichoke.
hard to get tender.
Yeah, and I always wonder who had the nerve to try to eat an artichoke. When you look at them, you don't think they're going to.
They're not too
Same
appealing,
thing with
but-
oysters. Who figured out? Anyway, we'll never answer that question.
No.
But we're going to let that steam, and then a nice way to serve artichokes is put them out and have a yummy little dipping sauce to serve with it. So while we get that fired up, we haven't reached pressure. I'll show you that. I'm just going to whip up a simple red chili lime butter. Because we're in New Mexico, of course, we love our red chili. So this is what I call pure ground red chili. It's simply our red chili pods that we see strung in the ristros, pulverized without the seeds, and I'm going to add that to some melted butter with some lime juice. And then this will be what we will use to dip our little artichoke leaves in. This is a nifty gadget that helps
It sure does help.
squeeze that in. Make sure you put the cut side down. And then I'm just going to whisk this in. Now, we could do this to taste, but I think I love our
You already know
red
how much
chili.
it would take.
So that's 2 tablespoons of red chili. And then this can be ready to go, and you can just sort of pass this around.
That's all.
Ready
the
to go.
3 ingredients.
Yep.
That's my kind of cooking.
Yeah, really. Those are those. And with artichokes, they're so fresh and simple.
So you just dip the little leaves, the
Yeah,
outside
so
leaves, peel
remember
them
to-
off.
Remember to explain to your guests that have never had an artichoke before, you don't eat the whole leaf, just
No.
that little end there.
I
So
had to
we'll-
learn that.
Yeah,
the other's
'cause
pretty
the-
darn
it's a-
tough.
Yeah, it's a little hard going down, even harder coming out. Okay, so we're still waiting for that to reach pressure. That'll reach pressure in a minute. Now, another thing in my cooking school that I like to teach are simple recipes that will wow your guests, but that are easy, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to make an artichoke ravioli, and we're going to use wonton wrapper, Cheryl, which is a
Never worked with
wheat-based little thin sheet, and you can make ravioli with these really easily. I do a recipe or a cooking class called Wonderful Wontons, and we do lots of things with wonton wrappers. But first, I'm going to make my filling. So what I have are actually canned artichokes, drained well and quartered. These are fine. You could also use frozen. And I'm just going to saute these in a little bit of olive oil. That's nice and hot. And first, though, I'm going to add some garlic. So another one of my little favorite gadgets. This is a garlic peeler.
The first time I saw you do that,
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine what you were going to do.
Yeah, and roll it, and out pops, whoop, a little more.
You know
Out
exactly
pops your
when it's ready,
cloves.
don't
Yeah.
you?
And then you just put that in the dishwasher. Now, this is a really good garlic press by a company called Rosli. And that oil got hot, so I'm going to add my garlic there.
And you know, they say when you're cooking, you should always cook something with garlic, even if you just have it in on the
Absolutely.
burner.
Or if you're
because
trying to sell your house, also
yeah.
have some garlic.
it smells
And then
so
we're going
good.
to put our artichokes in there. And we're going to let those brown a little bit in the oil and the garlic. And then this is going to become part of our filling.
Oh,
So boy, doesn't that smell good. Anything with garlic.
yeah.
So we'll let those sizzle. Then what we have here is ricotta cheese. And I'm also going to add a little Parmesan. And this is called shredded Parmesan, not quite as finely pulverized there. Look at how we're alive here. Let those get a little brown. And then I'm going to beat up an egg. Just give this a little wipe. And this is going to be our filling for our ravioli. Okay. And then we've got a little salt and pepper. I like to put a little pinch of nutmeg in my
Nutmeg.
ravioli. It's a nice sort of different. And then some nice chopped parsley. So we're just going to mix this together. Now you don't want your filling to be soupy because then it's going to be hard to get into your ravioli. And now I'm going to add my, okay, now we're up to pressure.
Oh, it's up to the
And we're up to
high.
the second ring, and now we
second
can
ring.
go all the way to low. So this is actually a great way to cook energy efficient. because we're now going to use low heat, and we're going to do that for about 10 minutes. And I'm just going to slide that, let that cool off just a little bit.
Okay.
Now that steam that's coming out, I'm a little bit above where I should be or need to be, so it's just letting that extra steam out, but it's still cooking.
But we still don't have to worry that
Yeah,
it's
we don't
going
have to worry about it. I
pop
wouldn't
off.
probably go shopping with your pressure cooker
No.
on the stove, but you cannot worry about it.
Good.
So there's my artichokes. We're just going to fold that in. And then this is going to be the filling for our ravioli. Now, I do teach pasta classes where we use the old-fashioned pasta machine to make the dough, but really these wonton wrappers are a nice
yeah.
way to.
And it's a good way to save time, too.
Yeah, save time and
if you're
stuff.
entertaining.
You know, I love to do long cooking, but also quick cooking. Now here, I have some cream, heavy cream that I've been reducing, and I'm going to add some garlic to that as well, and a little bit of salt, and the zest of a lemon. So this is going to be like a creamy Parmesan and lemon sauce. So by letting your cream reduce a little bit, it's going to thicken your sauce, okay? And then this is a nifty gadget. This is a zester. So be careful of your knuckles. These are sharp.
Oh, yeah.
And remember, the zest of a lemon is just the yellow part. You don't want the white part because the white part is quite bitter. And that white part's called the pith.
And when you see a recipe, it maybe will only call for 1/4 of a teaspoon or something, and you
Yeah.
think, oh, I think I'll leave that out because it's not worth
yeah,
doing
it's
that.
such a good
but
part of
it really does.
So you're going to be surprised how this much zest is going to really flavor our sauce. Okay, make sure you always get off the back side there. And then we're also going to add a little dry vermouth. You could use dry white wine. This is just now, if you're cooking for kids, don't worry, the alcohol does cook off.
Right.
And we're just going to give that a whisk, and then you're going to see this is nice and started to thicken, which is going to be great. And then we'll add a little Parmesan and parsley right at the end. Okay. Now, to make our ravioli, we're going to take a wonton wrapper. Now, you do want to keep these sort of covered because they'll dry out and get a little brittle. And what you can do, just take a little bit of water, and you're going to go around the outside. You could use a brush. I think a finger is better.
Sort of get the feel for it
you
this
feel
way.
what's going on. Then now don't get too much filling because you want to be able to close
Maybe
this.
a tablespoon.
Yeah,
slight.
that's about a tablespoon. And then just give that a little pinch. Crimp it closed. Now you could do these and you could actually freeze them and then cook them right from frozen.
So even though it's a cheese base, we
Yep.
could actually freeze
You can
these.
actually freeze
Wow.
them. And I use wontons for a lot of things. Actually, I also do, of course, wontons are also used for dumplings. So this could end up a steamed dish, not maybe with our artichoke, but if we had like a shrimp filling, you can also deep fry them. So in my cookbook, I have a recipe for apple cinnamon fritters that we take a diced up apple with cinnamon and sugar, put them in the wonton, and then deep fry them, and they get all crispy and
So this recipe would make probably 20 of these, wouldn't
at
it,
least.
or something?
Yeah. So let's make one more.
Okay.
And then all we have to do is really boil these. And the cool thing about the
Oh, you boil them.
yeah, we'll boil 'em. The wonton wrappers cook in a minute. So, and you know, people are asking about gluten-free recipes. And recently I learned, and I can't remember where, but if you go online and look for gluten-free wonton wrappers, you'll find them. Let's do one more. And then you can use that as the basis for your...
We've had lots of
Yeah,
comments about
and they're
this.
good. Yeah, it's good to be able to accommodate your guests. So you don't have to get fancy with your crimping there. Okay, so now I've just got some water boiling there. You can see my sauce has thickened nicely. It's pretty much ready. We'll turn that off. And now let's look at our artichokes. Now, one of the things that people are leery of is having to release the steam. Now, what I tell people is what you can do is actually, and it's called the cold water release method, what you do is you actually take this over to the sink, run cold water on the lid. As soon as your little gasket goes down, your
It's safe.
steam is gone. And physically you cannot open it if there's any pressure. Since we don't have a sink, we're just going to slowly release that steam. And once again, I will not be able to open this if there's any pressure left. And you usually hear this wonderful sort of, this sort of sigh of release. And I know a lot of older people, everybody's grandmother used pressure cookers, but like you said, a lot of people.
And for food preservation.
Yeah, a lot of people canning and stuff. But a lot of people have them sort of in the garden.
Yeah.
With poinsettia growing out of it. Now, this should open really easily.
Oh, it did.
If there's any pressure left, I wouldn't be able to open that. So what you could do is let me just sit that there. I would check your artichoke, just make sure that it's nice and tender, but that's good. So you can see that pulled off easily, Cheryl.
Yeah,
So let
and
me
that's
just.
what you would use this dipping sauce for.
So we're just going to put that right in that bowl. And then if we're careful, why don't we do it out here? I can even sort of give you a little, careful, that's going to be hot. So you'll just dip that little, careful,
That's
hot,
kind of
hot,
fun
hot.
too. Yeah, I'll have to let it cool a minute.
And then
So you could have this out and let people be having
ready
fun
to
with
go.
it, and then
Exactly.
have this ready to go.
Yeah, ready to go. Now I'm just going to quickly cook my little raviolis. So I've just got some boiling
I
water
like
here.
that sauce.
Isn't that good? And you can sort of use a rule of thumb. When they float, they're done.
The wonton.
Yeah, one your little wonton. And then you can fish them out with a little. And if you want to hand me our plate there.
Well, it doesn't take long to cook those.
Yeah, and they'll be nice and tender. And I've got my water boiling, but not too vigorously, because you don't want to boil away your ravioli there.
So you can cook about 4 or 5 at
Oh,
a
yeah.
time.
You could do, if I had a little bigger pot, I could do. And then we're going to have our delicious cream
Most people would
sauce
think that
here.
we had taken a cooking class.
I know. And we'll do one more here. We always serve things in threes. That's sort of a rule of thumb.
For
And
decorating and cooking.
then
And
we'll do a little of our sauce. And you don't need a lot. I like to actually taste my ravioli.
you don't want
if
so
you have
much
a-
of one thing, it
Yeah.
covers up everything else.
I think restaurants tend to sometimes over sauce food, and you really want to be able to, and we'll just make sure that this is nice and ever want to serve a little. Yeah, we'll put a little Parmesan on top. And a little parsley.
Thought you needed something green on there. There
And
you
I'm
go.
a black pepper fan. I love
Fresh cracked.
fresh cracked pepper. So
Okay.
there's our little
Voila.
ravioli stuffed with sauteed artichokes, ricotta cheese, Parmesan, and in a Parmesan lemon cream sauce.
Well, I know the sauce was good. We'll be anxious to try this.
And bon appetit.
Thank you very much, John.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed the show today. Next time on Creative Living, we'll talk about post-traumatic stress disorder in animals. We'll learn what's hot in bathroom design and learn to create various items out of hardy clay. One of my next guests is with an organization called Guardians of Rescue, and he'll tell about their animal therapy program that helps people with PTSD by pairing trained therapy dogs with those who need the therapy. What's hot in bathroom design? Well, another guest on the next show is a kitchen and bath designer, and she's going to discuss budgets, statistics, gadgets, and trends pertaining to new bathrooms. You'll especially enjoy seeing and hearing a new shower head she brought. And finally, we'll meet a lady who is a designer of doll molds, and she'll show several dolls and other items made from hardy clay. She'll demonstrate how to mix colors and explain how to condition the clay for pressing. All of these topics will be featured on the next Creative Living show. If you ever have comments or suggestions or ideas for shows, you can email me at cheryl.borden@enmu.edu. I'd also like to ask you to become a fan of Creative Living on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com and in the search window, type in Creative Living with Sheryl Borden. I also want to remind you to sign up for our free Creative Living newsletter that comes out the first part of each month. Just go to our website at kenw.org and provide us with your email address. Thanks so much. I hope you'll plan to join me next time for Creative Living.
We are very pleased to offer a new booklet that accompanies this series of Creative Living. This booklet is titled the 6600 Series, and it features a wonderful collection of ideas and information, and it's available free of charge on our website. Posted as a PDF file, you can simply download the entire booklet, or just the segments you're most interested in. As with all of the Creative Living booklets, you'll find information on foods and nutrition, clothing and fashion, health and beauty, home decorating, and much more. For your copy of this booklet, go to our website at KENW.org and then click on Creative Living. Scroll down to the booklet section and you can click on this booklet or any of the other booklets we have available online. Once again, just go to KENW.org, click on Creative Living, and download the booklet titled the 6600 Series. We also want to encourage you to sign up for our free e-newsletter. Just click on the Sign Up Now button and input your email address. That's all there is to it. You'll enjoy reading an up-to-date newsletter filled with interesting topics and information. Thank you.